Yes, sir.
All right. We'll call this April 6th, our Board of County Commissioner meeting to order today, and welcome everybody for being here. We're thankful that you came to participate and look forward to going through our agenda and hearing from you if you want to speak to the board. And I've asked Commissioner Martin to lead us in a prayer and Commissioner Sharon Langford to lead us in the flag. If you please stand.
Oh, dear Lord, first of all, we just want to thank you, dear Lord, for the rain that you've sent us and the rain that's about to come. We really needed it, and we appreciate you sending that our way, dear Lord. We also thank you for Commissioner Thomas feeling better. I went by and visited today, and he's feeling much better, getting his strength back, and we thank you for that. We ask that you still continue to be with the families that have lost loved ones and those that are still sick in the community, dear Lord. We also ask, dear Lord, that you be with us today in this meeting, that you'd help us conduct business that would be good for Gilchrist County, good for the people, good for the county, and that would be pleasing in your sight. Help us in all the decisions we make. We also ask, dear Lord, that you be with our national leaders, our president and our Congress and our senators, dear Lord, as they make a lot of decisions going on in the state of what's going on with our country, dear Lord. We ask that you just give them guidance in the things that they do. We also ask, dear Lord, that you bless our first responders and our military as we continue on with this war, and as the firefighters and EMTs are out trying to protect the community, the citizens in the community, and the things that happen. We ask that you be with them, keep them safe. And again, dear Lord, we thank you for the blessings that you've given us, and we ask all these things in your wonderful name, dear Lord. Amen.
Address the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Again, we're thankful to have each one of you here today, and as Commissioner Martin mentioned in his prayer, Commissioner Thomas is out recovering from his surgery, and we pray he'll continue to get stronger, and hopefully he can be back at our next meeting. And so any agenda changes at this point, Mr. Crosby or Lane? No.
I have none, Mr. I have none, Mr. Chairman. I have none.
Nope.
Motion to approve the agenda as presented.
Okay, got a motion to approve the agenda as presented, and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. You've got the consent agenda that's been presented. Anybody got any questions or comments related to that?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. All right, we have the first opportunity in our meeting for the public participation part of our agenda. And if there's something on there or there's something you want to bring up that's not on the agenda, we'd be glad to have you come forward and provide that input. Anybody?
There's an item later on in the agenda, should I wait?
Yeah, if you're in the agenda already, then we'll get to you when we get there.
Yep. Nobody else? All right. You'll have another opportunity at the end of the meeting. Constitutional officers, we have some in the room. Anybody would like to provide any input or nope? Not seeing any. So thank you for being here, and appreciate all the work that you guys do. The first part of our agenda then after that is our county administrator items. Mr. Crosby, you want to begin?
Sure. Yes, sir. Today my agenda starts with item number 6 under general, and our first will be Ms. Jessica has a 4-H presentation for us, so I will let her introduce that.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Jessica Cooper, Extension Department. How are you all?
Good.
All
How are
right.
you?
Good.
Thank you for having me today. I just wanted to highlight some of the amazing life skills work that's happening in the county. So we have a public speech that was presented as the winning 6th grade speech at the Florida Power and Light Public Speaking Contest about a week ago. And her speech primarily focuses on a life skill that's really important, which is empathy and kindness. So I'm going to go ahead and introduce her, and she'll deliver her speech for you.
All right.
Her name is Juliette Britton.
All right.
Awesome.
Juliet, would you take the mic and pull it down just a little bit. That way we'll be able to hear you. Thank you. Very good.
Go ahead and start whenever you want.
Hello, my name is Juliet Brand. I'm 12 years old and I go to school at Bellman, Ohio. And today I'm going to be talking to you about the superpower of kindness. Dun, dun. Kindness is a powerful force that resides in each and every one of us. While acts of courage and bravery often capture attention, it's pure, genuine, and heartfelt kindness that has the ability to transform lives. It requires no special talent or resources, just the willingness to reach out and make a positive difference. Think about it. Who wouldn't appreciate a kind gesture, a thoughtful word, or a helping hand? These small moments carry enormous weight. I did a little bit of research, and I'm going to share that with you today. Kindness creates connections, which inspires positive actions and improves both your mental and your physical health. With a few simple acts of kindness, each of us can contribute to a more connected and compassionate community, ultimately leading to a positive change in the whole entire world. And between you and me, we definitely need that right now. Every simple act of kindness truly matters. So let's go over what that means. Studies have shown that performing acts of kindness can lower stress levels, reduce blood pressure, and may even improve your immune function. So basically, kindness helps your physical health, all in all. Studies have also shown that acts of kindness improve your mental health. Acts of kindness, whether small or large, activate brain regions linked to empathy and emotional regulation. Engaging in kind behaviors stimulates the releases of neurotransmitters. Acts of kindness can change the brain, positively impact the heart and immune system, and may even serve as an antidote to depression. So, if you think about it, it's like a pill, but with the side effects of helping others. Mindful-based therapy is becoming increasingly popular for treating anxiety, depression, and other mental health conditions. How do I know this? Well, because recently my father was diagnosed with a rare brain disease, so he would like to take the least amount of medication so now he is involved in mindful-based therapy, and this has helped him create awareness of himself and others around him. People in the Big Joy participants engage in positive interactions, such as performing small acts of kindness, creating gratitude lists, celebrating the achievements of others, and watching inspiring nature videos. I mean, who wouldn't want to see a cat purring on your lap? That's just cute. Almost every individual experiences some type of benefit, both mentally and physically. To conclude, kindness is contagious. When we choose to be kind, we inspire others to do the same, creating a ripple effect that can uplift entire communities. It's a simple chain reaction that starts with just one person, and that can be you. So I encourage you to come alongside me and commit to just one simple act of kindness. Because like I said, it may seem small to you, but to the person you're doing it to, it can mean the whole world. Thank you for your time.
Wow. Very good.
Good job. That was awesome.
Wonderful job, Juliet. She'll be moving on to compete in the regional Florida Power and Light contest, which will be this Friday against 8 other counties across Florida. So we're really excited for her to showcase all of her amazing public speaking talent that she's been working on, and just her enthusiasm for kindness. So thank you all for being public servants and demonstrating that level of kindness every day too. We really appreciate all that you do, and we're excited to share her speech with you.
Thank you.
She did an absolutely fantastic job. I have judged a lot of public speaking in my 35 years as being an ag advisor, and she is top notch. Not only was the presentation performed incredibly, but it was also a great topic, and that's something we all should do, is practice a little bit more kindness. So I appreciate her coming up, and her bright smile and her ability to get her message across was just amazing.
Yeah,
So
real
she
good
ought to
eye-
do really, really well.
Real good eye contact. She looked
Yes.
at everybody. She did
Yes.
really well. I'll give her a little history. I was in 4-H a long time ago. I did public speaking, and I went all the way to state with it. So keep it up. You did a fantastic job. You'll just get better and better the more you do.
Yeah.
God bless you.
Yeah.
Very good, Jessica. Is that all you have? No, we appreciate you coming, and maybe we should get a 4-H'er to come at every meeting and get started. That's a great way to start.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Several members who could come, so I'll get to thinking on the next one.
That's good.
Thank you.
Real good.
All right.
Thank
Thank you,
you, Juliet.
Jessica. And thank you.
Yeah, we appreciate you being here. All right, sir.
That was good.
Yes, sir. Our next item is still under general. It's a proposal from Romer Wireless and Broadband. Mr. Ryan Reddy is here today, and he is, as you remember, yeah, come on up, Ryan, if you will, please. If you'll remember, I hate to put a time to things, 12, 18 months ago, something like that, we spoke about possibly putting up some towers throughout the county, monopoles, and the other one was one at the sheriff's department that we pretty well agreed to that one that day because it's going to benefit us at the sheriff's department as well. That's still in the works as too, but he has a few locations picked out that you've looked at through here. I will let him, if you want, go ahead and go through what you're looking to do and trying to do, Mr. Ryan.
Good evening. That's tough to follow up.
Yes, it is.
One day, someone's gonna pay you a lot of money to come do this kind of stuff for people like me who don't want to do this kind of stuff. Yes, thank you, Bobby. Ryan Reed with Romer. We've been working, as most of you know, with the county to expand broadband infrastructure, and one of the great side effects of the way that we're building our infrastructure is that we can also help out with county public safety networks as the county's been upgrading their radio equipment, and as we're looking towards the future of what is going to come in the realm of public safety and wireless technologies, and the technology is changing so fast that we know it keeps coming. We've made great progress on getting coverage into the county. We've probably got about half of our dedicated coverage built so far that we committed to with the state under the Florida Broadband Opportunity Program. So that program was from the SLIPR funds, ARPA, when all of that came from COVID. So we've gotten to, like I said, about 50% of our commitment. We need to finish out the other 50% of our commitment to the state. And as we've been choosing how to implement that, we've been working with Ralph and Bobby to make sure that we can also facilitate their needs. We also just started talking to the new school district folks, and there's some things that we're going to be looking at doing with them as well, which I'll be back for soon. So right now what we have is, as Bobby said, we've already started on the Sheriff's Office project. That steel has actually arrived. We would have it up by now, but we did some changes on the location at the Sheriff's Office. So when we changed that, we had to get a new engineering report. So that's on its way. And then we had discussed the site up at the fire station at 138. You all gave us preliminary approval to do our due diligence on that site. We've concluded that it is a viable location, and it also is one of the main locations that the county public safety equipment is needed at to get better coverage into the north part of the county for radio equipment as well. The other sites that we've identified are 3 strategic sites throughout the county that are county-owned parcels that don't really have, I don't think they have a lot of use, and we're looking for a very small utility easement to do a utility pole structure similar to what we're doing at the sheriff's office. That way we can expand the capacity of our broadband network into those really hard to reach areas. Those sites are listed on, I'll say the third page. I apologize if the number, yes, the third page.
Yeah.
And I've reviewed those with Bobby. I think he could probably answer questions as well as I could if there's any. And just to give you a summary of where we're going with this, right now there's 3 major internet service providers in Gilchrist County. You've got Connexon, Windstream, and Roamer. All 3 have received some form of federal funding or state funding to build their networks. So our goal is to remain the local and cost-effective competition to make sure everybody's fair and has options. And this would help us to continue to extend that out to the community while also providing ancillary support. If the county should ever need to put equipment on anything that we build, it is included in the easement that we would provide, that we would deploy that equipment for the county at any time.
All right. If you'd like me to clarify the sites, just so you know, the Fanning site is, if you're on the nature trail, when you're leaving Fanning, as you leave Fanning Springs, you come around, you can go left and go to Dixie, go right, come back in and stay in Gilchrist County. There's a V right in there that the county actually owns. So that's the location of the Fanning side. Tudine, you know where that is? That would be the boat ramp up on Southeast Second Way, what we call 2-way. And then the Rock Bluff side, it's actually, that's the Philpott Park, if I remember correctly when I pulled that up. So it's in the Rock Bluff area, but we refer to that as the Philpott Park. So and then of course the 138 is the fire station. So you kind of know where those locations, kind of give you a mental picture.
Take care of the north end of the county.
Sir?
Take care of the north end of the county
And the west.
and the west end. Yeah.
Yes, it would provide significant coverage for both our service and for the county radios where there's some dead zones.
So I have a simple motion here. You want me to read this motion? It sounds pretty good. Because I'm going to make a motion that we allow it. Okay.
I think we have some questions first, though.
Okay, yeah, sure.
If you don't mind, just for clarity. I recall the conversation we had about the sheriff's office structure, but I think we left that at undecided as far as these other locations were concerned until the board came back and approved these sites. And I think, if you'll go back and look at the minutes from that time, I think that we had decided that you needed a special use permit to be able to locate these on each of the particular sites, if my memory is serving me correctly. So, that being said, I don't know if we can just move forward with authorizing them to go on those sites without having some public input, some advertising, and that sort of thing. Not to mention, and don't take this the wrong way, but your competition might want the same advantage that you're being given if they approve your sites for you to do this at these different locations. And I throw that out just for the basis of discussion by the board members, because if their memory's like mine, they probably don't recall. That was 18 months ago or so when we discussed it before.
So, Mr. Lang, you're thinking we might need to bid it out, or?
There's a possibility. That's
Okay.
I want to put it before you to make that determination as to how you think that we need to proceed with this. But I don't want to get ahead of ourselves and then figure out that we did something that we probably, should have handled in a different manner.
I tend to fall on the side of that. If you look at Florida Statute 125-35, it discusses the sale and lease of county property. We have sites that have towers on it that we currently lease out to other entities. And so, I think it's a question of that. Like, in essence, are we providing a benefit to an entity? They are providing something back to the county, but, the question is, the statute talks about counties selling or leasing real or personal property to the highest and best bidder. So while we are getting a benefit of allowing, county radio equipment to be put on the site, so it's not that we're giving it for nothing. We are being provided a site to put our equipment on. But the question is it being provided to the highest and best bidder?
Well, I think that there's some disconnects between the different pieces, and perhaps there's some legal language that I need to bring back to clarify some of those pieces. Because we're not buying a lease. This is a partnership situation, so it's when we entered into the Broadband Opportunity Program at the state, we also that initiated a public-private partnership once we were supported by the county. And so it changes the structure of the relationship between the entities where we are in a public-private partnership. And
I'm not sure that we ever did any kind of a public-private partnership.
the term public-private partnership is
Like typically that would be followed up by some sort of a document indicating that.
you would think, right?
Yeah.
You would think.
But I don't think any documents have actually been
So the way
provided or approved.
The way that it's used predominantly in the state of Florida is a little different than that. But to speak to, that was actually Mr. Lane brought up some points, but they kind of crossed different lines because you're talking about bidding or putting something out for bid is one piece, but then also talking about special use permits, which is another piece. So it would be easier to delineate each item out so that we're not mixing those, because I think that creates a lot of confusion.
I would agree.
Take one point at a time, and I could explain each point. That would be.
I would agree, but I would think that both are actually necessary. I personally think both are really necessary in order to move forward. The bidding process and then the special use would be following that. Because the special use permit's actually where the county's saying that they're providing everything to the public, and the public has opportunity to question the use of that property for those items. That's the whole point of a special use permit. Is
so I can prepare a lot more definition details, because we did spend a lot of time with Brandon at North Florida Professional Services to make sure that we were presenting something that was within the scope of state statute and within the municipal code of Gilchrist County. So I can certainly provide all of that research that's been done. This was a preliminary step to say that this is what we're going forward with, before we start spending money on things that cost a lot of money to move something like this forward. So that was why we came initially for the first request of permission to do due diligence on the north location at 138, because it does cost money for us to do all that research. It's very expensive. So that's very
Can I
similar.
speak to the permit? We have done some work with, quite a bit of work, speaking with North Florida Professional Services. The tower at 138 fully understands, got to go through the full cycle.
Yes, that is a very
The
large-
poles are more of aluminum type power, like you see a power pole up and down the road. And the reason I'm saying that, after they researched that, Brandon and them researched some of that, there's not a permit required per se like a regular cell tower for those type of poles. However, if the board would feel, if we moved forward, or however we moved forward, is the permitting, if the board felt better about it, it could be a simple, it could go through a permit process, it just would not require, it would basically say, we looking to approve a permit for this type of pole and this structure, but it's with limited information. You wouldn't need the information you need with the others as far as construction and all that, but it would make the public aware, so they would have an opportunity to come in and speak. So does that?
There's a lot of confusion between what a tower is and what a utility pole is. And so if you go out of town and look to your right, going towards Newbury, across from the Sun Stop, and you look at the Duke station, for example, they have a utility pole that carries an antenna structure. It's not carrying power lines because it's a utility service. So under the same concept, broadband is a utility service. So it's not, we're not trying to put up a tower at those locations. Now the north site, that's a full tower. That is a totally different animal. But utility poles that are constructed that way and are for single use or for joint use with the county, are a completely different structure, and even though they look the same, they fall under completely different regulations, and they are basically like when you put up a utility pole down US 1 or Highway 26. So it's a very different thing, even though it looks similar, but it doesn't go through the same processes as a tower does. It doesn't get lights on it. It doesn't get big carrier radios on it. It's a much different structure.
It's much shorter, not as high up in the air, and it doesn't have guide wires coming down from it,
Right.
and it's a single pole. It's not a frame of any sort that's going up around it.
And the height of what constitutes as a utility pole can vary from one location to another in the statewide scope, because different locations have different municipal codes. So it just varies. But this has been done all over the state. It's nothing new. So it fits within the Gilchrist County Municipal Code. And so it's confusing. A lot of people can misunderstand, but
Yeah.
it is very different.
Ryan, you have lots of experience in this area and providing lots of benefit to our county. We appreciate all of that, but it sounds like there's some questions with some of legal and Mr. Newton. And so I'm wondering if we shouldn't shoot for a follow-up with those folks and discuss these questions. And then if everything works, then we might be able to come back on the 20th. I don't, any other suggestions related to that, or?
Well, Ryan spoke of a public-private partnership. Do you have legal documentation where you've utilized that with other municipalities and counties in the past, so that we can kind of take a look at the statutes and see where we're at?
Public-private partnership is a concept, but it is what the state views. Once there is any collaboration between organizations, it's just how the state views it differently once it's happened.
Well, I guess what I'm getting at, I'm a little confused even by that answer, to be honest with you, but what I'm saying is, I don't want the next entity to come up here and say we afforded Romer this opportunity, whereas you didn't afford us this same opportunity, and I would like to have some kind of a groundwork or legal framework that authorizes us to do what he's proposing that we do.
What we were doing bid.
I'm not sure. I think I'm missing what is the part of it that is missing? That you
Well, you're
think-
building on public property, that's number one.
Hmm?
To your advantage, and I propose that, based on what you've said, it's to the advantage of the county as well. But there could be other entities out there that weren't given that opportunity, and they might have objected to you or wanted the same opportunity that they're looking to grant you. So without just carte blanche saying that it's okay to do it, I'd rather have some legal authority that we have the right to do that as a county.
I'd say those entities have had every opportunity to go and ask for a letter of support, and then put in all of the work to go bid on those grants and fight really hard to win those grants from the state of Florida and the federal government to come in and help Gilchrist County. And so when we initially came in and met and got that letter of support, that was basically when the public-private partnership, that's a loose term, but that was basically when that would have said, okay, that is a thing, we're working together. The county is supporting us because we came in, we fought really hard, we won $10 million to build this network in Gilchrist County in order to help support the county's citizens and expand broadband infrastructure. And we've actually been building and supporting broadband here longer than that. But we did that, and it is to our benefit in such that we will be able to continue to be a strong provider in the county and the only local provider to Gilchrist County, but it doesn't change anything for me as we don't benefit some other way. This is truly a situation where we would rather build something that is going to work properly and be the best it can be for the community, but we can build it different ways. This is just the right way so that we can make sure that everybody's benefiting, the county, public services, and everybody. I don't think that too many other companies have put in that much work and effort to get to that point. And from a legal standpoint, I could see how you would question whether or not someone could come in and say, oh, I deserve this as well. But I think that ends up on the hands of really this commission of saying, well, bring us your proposal, let's see what your proposal is, and maybe we can afford it to you as well, or maybe you can work with Romer to, co-locate on the equipment, the material, the vertical assets they've built. And we're happy to do that as well.
Well, to the clerk's point, do we have anything in writing between the county and Romer?
We do have a letter of support that was used in order for us to even bid on the grants. We could not bid on the
That
grants.
said we could utilize these stations that you have come up with here, Sheriff, North Florida, Fannin Springs, Tudine, Rock Bluff. Do we have anything where the board has agreed that you can utilize those sites?
That's why we're here tonight, because we're working on getting these things hashed out so we can build this properly. So as we've been building, we've been finding the best locations, and we specifically spoke to the EOC, Ralph at the EOC, to make sure that if there was anything he needed, we could make sure that he got what he needed, and that is how we settled on a lot of these locations, was based on his feedback. We did not choose them because they were county locations. We chose them because they were the closest county locations that would help him in order to get what he needs as well, because that's part of what we agreed to do, was to provide that level of support.
Ryan,
Yes.
are these the areas that the state awarded you?
Correct.
Okay.
We have a what's called an enforceable commitment to certain locations, where we promise that we will do everything we can to provide service to those locations. And we awarded those grants in 2023.
The reason I asked that question was because when they first gave out this money, it was a pool, and basically you competed for areas. And when the state issued the funding, they gave this company, A company funding for this area, B company funding for this area, C company funding for this area. I don't know this part. I don't know if any of those areas crossed. I think they were territorials, set up like territorial areas, or you funded. Let me change that. Territorial is not a good word, because somebody could privately come in there and do whatever they want. It wasn't isolated to just you, but that's where you have to spend the money in that area. Is that correct?
Correct. We have specific locations that we can only work in and have to work in, and we had to explicitly avoid things like where Windstream had RDOF funding, which was an old program that they were not building on. They didn't really start building on it until they got told they wouldn't get any future funding unless they did it. But we had to avoid those areas, and so those areas went without for longer than they should have. And then there was other areas where Connexon was also awarded or CFDC previously, and they had some locations that intermingled, but we have distinct locations. So every broadband serviceable location, a building, a home, a business, it has an identifying number. We've been assigned by the state a specific list of identifying numbers that we are contracted to serve to under that process that you described, which was a competitive process, a very competitive process that we spent a year working with the state on.
I understand where Mr. Lang is going, where if we give you permission and we give you permission, other companies may come in and say, well, why didn't you give us permission? Well, my answer is you didn't come to us and ask permission, you did. And so you've done the work to go forward and to ask for it, and if we give it to you, then you've done the work. You've done what you needed to do. They didn't. And so that was my argument against it, is he's done the work to come out and get it. We haven't kept the other companies from coming and asking. If another company wanted to come and ask us, they could have. Am I
I think
correct in that assumption?
I still think it's
Well, have we
the
even
question.
opened the door to reach out if any other companies would like to do that?
They certainly do reach out when they want to.
But there's a couple other things here that we haven't even addressed, and the gentleman refers to the fact that these are different than our telecommunications towers. Our telecommunication towers are considered developments of a major impact. There's a whole laundry list of things that you have to comply with in order to get those permitted. So if this is a different type tower that doesn't for some reason fall under the definition, of telecommunication tower. Even with that, if you give permission, you're gonna have to come back up here, they are Romer, with a site and development plan for approval, and the easements that are necessary for them to get on and off of our property, and also some other things about personal liability, injury, harm to personal property or people. There's some different issues that are involved here, rather than just the board saying it's okay to go out there and construct on our property.
Okay.
That's absolutely correct. So the follow-up to saying, yes, these are eligible sites, let's get the easement before the board, let's get all that before the board. That is exactly what comes next. So despite the fact that these are utility poles and not towers, they're not going to have lights on them, they're not going to be built for carrying 3 major carriers. There's, it's a significantly different structure. Like I described the pole over here at the Duke substation, guarantee you there was no special use permit. They also did not do a NEPA, a SHPO. They did not do any of those things to build that pole. That is one thing that is completely different about the way that we do anything, is that we go through all of those regulatory steps no matter what. So this is a precursor to, yes, bring us what you're going to do with the easement, and then as long as everything fits, we can negotiate the easement, sign it, and move on. I think this is the preliminary step to getting that across the board, because once that starts, then we spend, like I said, a lot of money to get those things done. So the state historic preservation, the national environmental preservation, FAA studies to make sure that it's not a tower, that it is not interfering, because even a utility pole going up on 26 or on transmission lines still needs to go through an FAA study. So we've actually got a system, we've already processed most of these through that first initial couple of steps that don't actually cost a large amount of money. So these are sites that have been identified as viable for the joint use category of, this is something we all could need to use. And so bringing back the drafted easement and the regulatory approvals really is a procedure of getting it done. It's not a requirement of getting it a yes to proceed. Just like building a tower up at 138, we got the permission to do the due diligence. We've done the due diligence, and the next step would be, okay, start the rest of that process. And as it goes, I don't know that, some of that doesn't even have to go to the board. It can go to Bobby to say, this all makes sense, and he brings things to you to review as legal, and okay, this makes sense, but it's not things that require that extra step, and then when something does, it can come back to the board if necessary. But I don't think that that's something that is, even valuable to bring and use time at the board, to get through the minutia.
Yes, so Ryan, my suggestion is, because it doesn't sound like everybody's satisfied and comfortable where we're at, that you set up a meeting to follow up with these folks, and we plan on trying to get it back on the agenda on the 20th, if that's possible, unless you guys think otherwise.
I kept reading public safety and broadband services, and I'm all about both of them. But and that's the reason I was looking at it. But now, if there's some complications or legal issues or some documents that are missing something, then we certainly have to address that also.
I think the best thing to do is do we think the best thing to do is go out and put together an RFQ? I just don't want to delay him 2 more weeks.
That's true.
So, I found something that I think we need to look into, but I don't have really time to do it right here during the meeting.
Right. So you think there's another way?
Potentially, but, I think it's a good idea for us to try and move forward with the next meeting.
Okay.
But,
Well, that would be quicker than RFQ.
yeah.
If it goes.
I'd like to have a set of questions that are present from anyone that has them. I can have those addressed very quickly, and if possible, we can, I'm not sure what the cadence is of the meetings. You said the 20th?
I could get with the attorney and the clerk, or provide them your email if they don't already have it, and we could try to get those emailed to you. What is y'all's timeline, questions or concerns you'd have? next couple of days? Could you do it in the next couple of days, probably? I know you got a big trial going on.
By Friday,
Okay.
yeah.
What if they do email those to you in writing?
Yeah, I can get those addressed very quickly and turn things around within a couple of days.
All
So
right.
Todd, we're gonna put our heads together about whether or not we have to proceed with an SUP, basically,
Yes.
rather than an easement, site plan, that sort of thing. Come back to the board and say, these are the locations. We're gonna make a determination, is that?
Yes, I think we'll try and evaluate the statute and determine, how the county's best way to move forward.
That sounds good.
What was that statute? You said 125?
12535 is in regards to county-owned property, real and personal.
Okay,
But
thank you.
Okay, any other questions? Thank you for,
Yeah, no, just one last thing I'll add is we got a sister company. We're a joint venture that's doing the same thing in Hendry County, just small county as well. And it's all been pretty much done. Like it's just a little further along in this process, and it's been the same things.
LaBelle. I've been to LaBelle.
LaBelle, yeah,
Yeah.
we actually just put a tower up right in LaBelle, full size self-support tower.
Okay.
So very similar, actually almost identical.
Yeah, you've got lots of great experience, and I know the company is trying to help Gilchrist County. We appreciate it, and appreciate you just taking a little more time to get everybody comfortable with where we're at.
Yes, sir. We will get everybody's questions answered. We do have some state timelines that we have to meet in order to finish out what we're doing. But if it would help, and actually I think it might actually be the right move, is that if gentlemen that have questions could schedule a meeting, I can actually get the folks at Commerce to join us for a meeting so that we have someone from the state that can speak into what this is looking like across the entire state of Florida, so that you don't feel like you're in a bubble.
All right,
Sounds good. Thank you, Ryan.
all right, appreciate it very much, thank you.
All right, Mr. Crosby, next item. Letter of support.
Yes, sir. Next is a letter of support for the Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission. They're looking to build an outdoor education center, and they're looking, right now, they're not looking for funding from us, just letters of support so that they can reach out to the state and try to receive funding. What this will do is teach, as it says in the letter, to promote outdoor recreation, teaching kids to fish, hunt, and archery, and a lot of different things. So looks like a great program. They've received letters from several counties already, but just was looking to provide a letter of support.
Yeah, Scott Wynn, who's the FWCD or FWC regional director, called and explained this some. And if you've been to Perry, Georgia, Georgia's got a Go Fish Education Center. It's real interactive. That's the kind of thing they want to do in Lake City, and they would essentially invite students from, in Georgia, it's every third grader, as I understand, goes through that center every year and just learns about the outdoors and fishing. And so that's what they want to do in Columbia County. So it sounds like a great idea at this point.
I'll make a motion, we give them a letter of support.
I'll second it.
Okay, got a motion and a second for the letter of support for the Outdoor Education Center. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
And any opposed, motion passes.
Thank you. Next item is our CDBG grant, MS037, the culverts at various locations. This is a culvert that we've talked about a couple of times through the application process. The grant is in the amount of $1,298,634. There's no county match. They will pay 100%. And this is just the actual contract from the state. So we need approval to allow the chairman to sign it.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Got a motion and a second to approve this CDBG grant for culvert improvement. And as we've discussed in the past, these are locations that have historically flooded, and the state's helping us fix those areas, and so we are very appreciative of that. Any other discussion?
This must be a state document, 57 pages long.
And 20 meetings.
20 meetings, yeah.
Yeah. Well, they're giving us, what is it, 1.2 million?
Yeah.
We can take those 50-page contracts.
Yeah,
That's short a lot of times.
Yes, it is.
yeah.
So all those in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes.
Is this the next thing?
That's the next thing, yeah. But the next item is, we had to go out to bid. We're required to, we're not allowed to use, for CDBG, you're not allowed to use the engineers or administration engineers that you have already contracts with. You have to go out to bid each time you get a grant. So we went out to bid for program administration, and you can see we received, I think it's 9 bids. And then we also, at the same time, we were out to bid for the engineering, and that is for this culvert project. We only received 1 bid for engineering services, so by their rules, we have to receive a minimum of 2, or go the first time, or go back out to bid. So the engineering one is back out to bid. We only get 1 next time, then they'll make an exception. But what we need to do, these are RFQs. We need to present a review committee to review these and present the results back to the board. In the past, that has normally been myself, Mr. Newton, and the chairman. If, just need approval if y'all are fine continuing with it that way.
Are you okay?
We're okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
You need a motion?
Yes.
So moved.
Second.
Have a motion and a second to have this committee to look at the CDBG bids. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes.
And Mr. Chairman, the reason I asked for the motion is they're all the time asking us for certain types of documentation. So if we've got the motion, we'll have documentation if they request that as well. So, the next we have is a FDLE grant, the number 6N274. This is for the Sheriff's Department. However, the grant has to come through the county, the Board of County Commissioners. It's for $45,000. It helps with the support of training, equipment of an employee, and also part of the salary of an employee. We just need a motion to accept the grant. The chairman has already signed it, but the reason he had to sign it, they won't award it until he assigns it. So now we just, if we decide not to accept it, we wouldn't, but I'm not sure why we wouldn't take $45,000.
Exactly.
Motion to approve the grant.
Second.
Okay, motion and a second to approve the LEAP grant agreement. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes.
That grant is 34 pages, by the way.
Getting better. All right, next item is the Crime Stoppers letter of agreement.
The next is our Crime Stoppers letter that we work with Alachua County through them. This is a letter of agreement. We do these every 3 years, so this is something we've done in the past. And just need approval to allow the chairman to sign the letter, and we'll send the Crime Stoppers.
So moved.
Okay, motion,
Second.
second to support this Crime Stoppers letter. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Now we're coming up on some road speed limit proposals.
Yes, sir. Next is under Road Department, item 7. It's request for speed limit changes. We have several of them. As you can see on this first one, I listed as Northwest 100th Street. The request actually came in for 101st Street, but the reason I did it this way, I feel like if we're going to do one of these streets, we probably should do 100, 101, 102, and 103 because it's in like a subdivision type area. I would recommend 25 mile an hour in that area. Now, as you know, if you approve it today, that just means we've got to advertise it and post it. Doesn't mean that we actually move forward with that today, but just looking for approval on how you'd like us to move forward.
Any board comment or question?
I had a question. So you're saying that you want that on 100, 101, 102, and 103?
Yes, sir.
All of them.
Yeah.
Pleasure of the board. What do you think?
Have you
I
talked
move-
to any of the residents out there, Bobby?
Sir?
The other, just this one request? I mean, has any of the rest of the residents said anything?
Oh, I I haven't had anybody else say anything, but I know what's gonna happen. As soon as you post one street, they're gonna come in and ask you to post the other one.
I had a
I
request
think
on
it'd be easier,
101.
you know,
On
with
101
what we
Street.
have to do with the advertising and the posting, it would all flow a lot better to just go ahead and post them. Now, once we post them, if somebody doesn't want their street, then they can come in for that public meeting and have a chance to voice that they would prefer not to have it done.
It's a pretty good idea being in a subdivision like that, though, I think.
I've had a request, just the other day for them to do Northwest 10th Street, because of, the traffic, the heavy traffic that's on it. It's just, it's kind of northwest of Bell, and I went out and drove it, and there's a lot of driveways, and they're all, you don't see them till you get on top of them, and some people have moved in the areas, and they've got go-karts and four-wheelers and everything else, and they're zooming up and down the road, and they wanted to be able to put stop signs on that one also, so.
What's
we'll
the
have to get
speed
to that
limit?
in the next one.
What's the speed limit right now on these roads?
What?
The speed limit on the roads.
There's no listed speed limit we have, so.
55.
55 if there's none listed, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you're proposing
25.
25.
Now, the dirt roads that we have, or any roads that we have been reducing or putting up a speed limit sign, typically what is the, miles per hour?
25 and 30, depending on the number of houses. But you're also looking at some of these roads are fairly narrow. You got
The one that we just
vegetation close
did
to the roads,
west of Scott
so
was 25, I think.
Yeah.
I think the last few we did, I think we did at 25.
Okay.
The one we did on K Langford over there, that was 35, wasn't it, or was it 25?
35, I think.
Yeah. That one was
I believe it was
35.
35.
Yeah.
But there wasn't as near as many
Right.
broken up
Right.
lots either.
Right. It wasn't a subdivision, it just a cut through.
I move to approve the speed limit changes, the signs to be put up.
Okay, got a motion
A second.
and a second to post the speed limit sign on all these roads that were just discussed.
No, it has to come back to us before they
It'll
post
come
it.
back as a.
I mean, yeah, that's what I mean.
100, 101, 102, and
But
103.
we
We'll
can do them all with
advertise.
the same ordinance.
Yeah. So we got a motion to propose changes, and we'll advertise and make sure everybody's aware of those changes, and they'll have an opportunity to come back
Yeah,
and discuss.
okay.
So have that motion. Any other questions or concerns? Not? All those in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. And so we have the same thing on Northeast 48th.
Northeast 48th is actually a subdivision off of 340. It's called the Spring Run Village. It's just east of 47. That subdivision was there for a long time. It just never built out. It is now built out, and they're requesting a speed limit in there, and I would recommend probably in this small subdivision, you either need 20 or 25 in that subdivision. You have a cul-de-sacs that do slow people down, or sort of like a roundabout, but yeah, I would recommend that.
That's about a half a mile off 47, ain't it?
Yeah.
In the Bruce property in there.
Yeah.
Behind the Bruce property, right?
I move to approve the speed limit signs being put up on Northeast 48th Court from 340 to the end of the dead end.
Second.
What
Okay.
speed limit?
25?
25?
Is that what you had?
Yes, 25.
So we have a motion and a second to, or propose speed limit posting, and we'll advertise that to make sure everybody's aware and has the opportunity to provide comment. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. And then next is similar.
The next one is Southeast 78th Place, but if you notice, you got 78th Place, and right above that, you got 77th Lane, which is, very populated as well. Excuse me, and all of that's building out. So I would recommend that we do, the request was for 78th Place, but I'd recommend we do 77th Lane while we're doing it. And
What about 79th Lane? Right below it.
that's the paved one. I'm pretty sure.
Oh,
it's
yeah, there's already
posted.
one there, yeah.
Yes.
So do this one at 25 also?
Yes, ma'am, and I would go ahead and do the 78th Street and 79th Place. That carries it right out to, from Southeast 70th to Southeast 80th, the Bar Road.
Okay, on the east and the west.
Do what now?
See,
The short ones?
yeah, the
See that
short,
little cut through right here?
see the little
Talking
short
about
ones?
that,
I don't have my pen. Here it is. See right here, Miss Sharon? Right here.
Okay, yeah, right there, okay.
That kind of joins these two together.
Mm-hmm. All the way
each
around
end,
both ends.
And then that way, once you turn off the two main roads, the speed limit's the same through there. I'll give you this if you want it.
All right, I move to
I make-
approve the
I
speed.
second it.
Okay, got a motion and a second to approve posting proposed speed limit on Southeast 78th Place. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, motion passes.
Okay. So it's gonna be 78th place, Southeast
78th Place and
And
77th.
And 77th
Southeast
Lane
77th Lane.
79.
and,
And
Southeast
78th Street.
79th Court.
and the
Wait a
cross
minute.
streets there.
You got three of them.
79th Court.
And Southeast 78th Street.
Mm-hmm.
Got it.
That way, as soon as you come in, we can post it. And
Okay. All right, got it.
the next item I have is under, speaking about chip and seal for Southwest 10th Street, west of County Road 341. If you remember, we're doing 1 mile of that road, and we were approached about the citizens paying a part of the 2nd mile of that road if we'd like to do it while we're there. They have reached back out. We've been out prepping roads and getting ready. This should be happening in May. So they would like us to, we never really came to an answer, so they were wondering if we would accept their proposal. And I think that proposal was they would pay $50,000, is that correct? And of it, personally, from my standpoint, I think it's a great deal because chip and seal is not a forever fix, but it is much better than the graded roads. It's going to cut out a lot of maintenance. That is a road that when we get rain, it washes out, ruts out quickly. So we're in there repairing. The traffic is getting to be more and more and more in that area. I think it's just all the way around because the chip and seal, it'll be used in the if you ever paved it, it would be used in the base of the pavement in the future too.
And this goes to public boat rent that we
Yeah.
have also.
My question is, are you gonna do all of 1E, or are you just gonna do the road to the boat ramp?
This road, what comes down, it dead ends at 80th, and you either turn right or left. You'll stop at 80th.
Oh, this isn't the one going to 1E?
No,
then?
no.
No.
Okay.
This is the one we're already doing the 1st mile.
Okay, I was,
And then
You're on Southwest 10th.
yeah.
if we
okay.
can do the next
What's
mile.
gonna be the cost of that?
$91,641.72.
So if they're,
And they're gonna pay half of it?
Can we say that again?
Yeah,
$91,641.72. That sounded like I was giving you my phone.
so
number.
we
Is
would
that
need
what
to
you're calling me?
come up with about
that's the total cost of it?
39.
That's the quote. That's the quote from Asphalt Paving Systems on that road. On that,
So if they do the 50, then we would have to come up with,
$41,641.72.
And who's coming up with 50,000?
Mind stepping up and
Mr. Holbrook?
Because we need an agreement is what I'm trying to say.
Right, and just before Mr. Holbrook speaks, if you don't mind, I know what we're talking about here, and this is not to offend Mr. Holbrook, and I think he'll understand what I'm saying, and hopefully takes it with no offense. But before we enter into the agreement with Asphalt Paving to add this mile, I do think we need to receive the $50,000 from them to the county, so that we have that money already, if that's agreeable to the
So you
citizens.
need to have the money up front.
Yes, sir. I think we would need to do that to enter into the contract with Asphalt Paving. Yes, sir. If that's,
I'd have to bring that up to the people who offered the
Okay, okay.
donations to,
yes, sir.
because obviously we were thinking it
But now
probably
they can
would be
approve it.
when it was done, so that we could know if it was approved and done to your, to into the county's qualifications and requirements before we pay for it.
Yes, sir. Well, the county's not gonna pay for it if it's not done to the
So that
requirements.
would mean the money would come back to us.
If we don't have to pay for it, I think we would have to give you the money back
Yeah.
because rightfully it wouldn't be our money. You follow what I'm saying? But I will tell you this, we have an engineering firm that will be inspecting this as it's done.
I don't doubt it will be done properly.
Yes, sir.
I really don't.
Yes, sir.
So, I appreciate
But to
y'all
answer,
taking
I don't think we can keep your money and not give you what you paid for. Right.
Since it's coming in less than $100,000, it was originally proposed, can I come up with half of the 91 now?
4 to 5 right there.
I don't have a problem with that.
Yeah, I'd support that.
That makes it a bit easier. And I think,
The only thing I will say to
very
that-
much. We brought this up a couple of times, and we were kind of waiting back because the original discussion, we're gonna need to have some procedures in place and, before we could even go through this, and we didn't want to upset anybody else that hasn't had the opportunity to go through it this way, but we're having to do it through these special assessments and things like that. So,
Yeah.
again, in my mind, it's a win-win. It's a win for us because we get it done early instead of waiting till possibly having it done next year. And with the things on property taxes and literally no there'll be any money next year. I'm sure you guys all appreciate that, so. I do have a large, I reached out to 27 people, basically on 80th Avenue and a few that have property on 80th and 12th on 10th Street. And, so we're that adjacent property to, 10th Street. But of all those that I approached, almost everybody was in support of it. A few people didn't have the money and were willing to say, okay, we'll just wait till they do it on their own and we don't have to worry about it, nor do we have to be in a conflict with some people who do want it, some people who may not want it. So to me, it's a win-win situation. I think I can be very comfortable that I could come up with the money ahead of time.
Yeah, if there's a question about what it's gonna look like, I don't know where we're starting, Bobby, in this process with the 5 or 6 roads, but it would give them the opportunity, if they don't start there, somewhere else, to go look at it. I think they're gonna be, I'm hoping everybody's gonna be happy with it. Y'all have been, Rodney and others have been to other counties and looked at what product is, and we feel like it's gonna be something that's gonna save us money in the long run. It's gonna reduce maintenance by our road department.
That's gonna be better access to EMS and first responders down there too.
Yeah.
You know, because sometimes when that road washes out, it's a mess.
But after we do these 5 or 6 roads, we may evaluate and say, we don't want to do any more, or we may say we want to do 5 more next year if we've got the money.
Right.
If you got the money, I think, so it's a win-win again for you too, because of the reduced maintenance on this for the graders and all that stuff, and it's something that's gonna last, may not last forever. But the point you just brought up, that if you do decide, if y'all decide to pay that later, and money comes to the state, whatever, at least you got the base there. It's a whole lot better base than it is on just limestone sitting out.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with
Yeah,
it.
here's what I don't want to see the board get into, though, is the situation you got into with Spring Ridge.
That's what I was just thinking.
You have a chip and seal, and it's not satisfactory to the 27 people who are putting up the money. Next thing you know, you're out there paving it with flat asphalt. You know?
That was going through my mind. I remember, we came up with a deal with, Spring Ridge, and they weren't happy with it, and I wasn't happy with it either. Then we ended up having to spend a lot of money to pave it to get everybody happy, and I just hate to think that might be what happens here, so.
Well, I think what you need to remember about the type of paving we're doing, this is not new.
Yeah,
This is what they did before what they do now. This is the old slag roads that most all of us grew up driving on, and the surface is gonna wear based on the type of traffic that's up and down the road, of course. But a lot of it's got to do with the base. We're going through and spending good time packing those. They're doing a great job on the base work. I went out and looked at some of
That
what
first
they're
mile
doing.
they've been working on, it's just a tremendous job.
Yeah. And the gentleman we got doing it has got a lot of experience as a finished grader. And then we have been using the Ripper a lot. to prepare them to get ready. And then adding rock where we need to add rock, removing sand where we need to move sand. So, you know,
And we're
I
gonna have an
understand you gotta
engineer
be-
will be out there watching it versus at Spring Ridge, we did not have an engineer out there.
Yeah,
So they're,
and I looked at Fifth Avenue today up there at Riverside Baptist Church. It's like a highway now. They was out there packing it some more today, and I mean, it looks really, really good. They're doing a good
Parking
job.
lot out back there, I mean.
Yeah.
Riverside
Yeah.
is.
Yeah.
That's a great little job on that.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a chip and seal.
Well, now this'll be a little bit better than that. That's mostly just millings.
it's gonna be a lot better.
A lot better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you're talking.
It's pretty much.
If Chip and Seal, we researched it quite a bit. If Chip and Seal's done right by a company like that does this, you'll be surprised how good a job it is. And you'll be surprised, I think, like Bobby said, the base is so important. If they get that base right, that Chip and Seal should last a long time.
so, Mr. Lane, what do we need to do to move forward? What do you need to prepare for us?
Well, you need to determine, are you gonna make them pay the money up front, half the money up front, and who's gonna be on the hook for the money?
Okay,
Yeah, and Mr. Richard has a
Let me
question.
address that.
Go ahead.
Richard Roman's finance director. This $50,000 would never be recognized by myself or any governmental principles. It's going to be set up in a liability account that's going to be due to the people who paid it.
do what now?
So it's not going to be revenue to the
Right.
board,
Right,
Right.
not until it's done. When it's done, then we will recognize all of the revenue.
oh, yes, okay,
Does that make sense?
yes, sir.
It's an accounting principle, this one.
Yeah.
So I think, I mean, I do think, you know, Mr. Lang had a good point about the money up front. That way we would know what our part would be. So, what, do you need, I mean, do I need a motion or what do you need to do,
I
Mr.
think
Lang?
we need a motion. I think and y'all correct me if I'm, we need a motion. You need to determine whether it's 50,000 or whether it's 50%.
50%.
And then you need the motion to state that with payment of the half from the citizens, that we will enter into an agreement with Asphalt Paving Systems.
Why don't we do 46 on our side, and maybe 45, 6, whatever you said on your side.
Okay, so, 46,000, I make a motion for the citizens to pay $46,000. And then the county would, pay the rest.
Yes, ma'am.
And then would come up with an agreement to have it chip and sealed.
Yes. We'll
And
have
that
it
they would
added
have to
our-
have their money in advance.
They had advance,
of
the money in advance from the citizens.
46, yeah.
I'll second that.
Okay, we got a motion and a second. I think there's still a question about, so the previous roads, we use fund balance, savings, basically, to fund those, and I guess that would be the way we would need to do that and do a budget amendment.
Yes.
Are you taking this out of the, Richard Roman's finance director, are we taking it out of the 500,000 that we've already budgeted?
No, sir.
It'd be an addition to,
Additional.
I think.
Okay, then yes, we would need a budget amendment.
So we'll have to do a budget amendment,
And
okay?
Mr. Romans, if you remember, they actually, I think, approved to you, we approved a $50,000 contingency with that too. Now, we weren't gonna move the contingency unless we needed it, but yeah, it was there.
So we could use that 50 if we needed to? As contingency?
Yeah.
As of right now, you could.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, okay, that's good. That's good.
Okay, so we'll evaluate that if the board approves moving forward.
Yeah.
with that. Okay, so we got a motion and a second. Any other questions from the board or otherwise?
I'd just like to make a comment real quick. You know, when we first started talking about the chip and seal process, I warned the board that we've got to be cautious about this moving forward. We can't afford to pave every road in Gilchrist County, and we know that. It's the reason we haven't ever done it in the future or in the past. And so again, you know, I'm just throwing out that word of caution, you know, especially as we're looking at potentially losing revenues in the future, that we've got to be cautious. Like, you know, as we continue to spend and spend and spend, eventually the money's not there. So just word of caution.
We're also going to talk about that a little bit with House Bill 13.
I think that this is, anytime we can improve roads like this, I'd rather spend my money on this than a new truck, you know. This is something that I feel like is gonna benefit all the citizens, especially those that go and use that boat ramp.
Yeah. The other thing, when we had these discussions at first, we looked at highly traveled roads, highly maintained roads, roads that may go to a boat ramp or something that's public ownership. You know, there's criteria that we'd all agree on, I think, related. We probably need to maybe bring that criteria back in the future. We got to make sure we've got the money. If we don't have the money, it's not even a question. We can't do that. But if it saves us money long-term in maintenance and reduces the number of graders or whatever in the long run, then that's just going to be a win for us in the county. And so, all right, we have a motion and a second. Any other, all those in favor of the motion, say aye.
The citizens are gonna pay $46,000?
Yes, sir.
Do we have a list of the citizens that are gonna pay that? Can we get that? For the purposes of the agreement?
The list of the citizens who are gonna pay, if you'll get that to Mr. Lang.
I'm sorry?
The list of the citizens who are gonna pay the money, if you'll get that list to
You need
Mr.
a
Lang or
list of
Mr.
them,
Crosby.
just need the money.
Well, we need to formulate an agreement. Who's gonna sign the agreement on behalf of the citizens?
See?
So you're gonna guarantee the $46,000? Okay.
Well, you told
can
me
do
to
that.
have it up front, so.
Yeah, he's gonna,
That would be a pretty good guarantee if it's in your hand.
There you go. Sign the dotted line.
Okay.
I'll try to make it real money,
So with that-
or a real check.
That's right. And that's on behalf of, what'd you say, 27 guys or so? 27
sorry?
people? 27 families or so?
Oh, yeah.
Gotcha.
Okay, Mr. Lang, you okay?
Various amounts,
I
we
can
need
do-
to
I
know
can-
how much each one's giving, so,
Why?
I can work with that.
because we may need to give it back to you if we don't have the money to finish the whole job.
Well, that would be back to me.
Okay.
Because I'll probably-
Because
I'll
you're just
probably
gonna front,
be
you're
my
gonna,
check.
okay.
right, and you're keeping up with who gives you what.
You okay
You're keeping up with
Ricky?
that.
Huh?
They'll
we
give
okay
it to
with
me
this?
and I'll give it to you all. There's a couple of people who don't want their recognition. And,
Well, I was going the same place Richard's talking about. Who gets the money back if something fell apart?
well, it'll come back to me and I'd be responsible for it.
It'd be responsible, because the check's coming from his checking account.
Great. That's a good
So all we have to do is deal with one person.
That's right, I like that.
I like it.
Yeah.
So I think everybody agreed to approve the motion, but any not agree? No, motion passes, and then we'll follow up. Mr. Lang, you will with Mr. Hallbrook. We appreciate all your work.
Thank y'all.
Mr. Hallbrook.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much. Appreciate it.
Here it is. Oh, this is the
Yeah.
check signer.
You have to come up and give us your name at the, just because we have to record it all.
Karen Holbrook, resident on Southwest Town, or Southwest City Town. My question is, timeframe of when you think you will need the check before you do the agreement with the asphalt company? So I
Okay.
can-
So we're
Yeah.
to begin the work in April, this month, or next month?
1st of May, probably right now, first week of May. It would be nice if we could probably have it by that third week of April. I'm
It's
gonna
already
put them-
April, though.
I'm going to put them
Okay.
on notice that we may want to do that road while they're here to do the extra mile. But before we could say, yes, do it, we would need to
We'll
have
have
it.
it to you April 22nd.
Okay,
The county still has a lot of work to do on that
Yes.
second mile.
yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, thank you all.
25th.
All right, Mr. Crosby, we're on Hart and Otter Springs.
Yes, sir. Received a request from Mr. Robert Wells on behalf of the Gilchrist County Prevention Coalition. They have asked to use Hart Springs on Saturday, March the 2nd, to host the Hope Fest.
May 2nd.
May 2nd.
I'm sorry, May 2nd. I don't even know what I said. Did I say April?
You said
March.
May, you said March.
March, okay. May 2nd, to host the Hope Fest. It's a free family-friendly community event focused on prevention, wellness, and connection for residents of Gilchrist County and surrounding Tri-County area. They've also asked for the park admission be waived during these hours of 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. for their event. This event was at Otter Springs. I'm not sure how many years, at least 1 year, if not more. Some events have changed now, and as you know, the county has Otter Springs back. When Mr. Wells originally came and spoke with me, we were not running Otter Springs. And Mr. Wells is here. He's welcome to come up anytime he wants to as well. So, but what I would like to recommend that if we're going to do this, Hart Springs brings in a lot of revenue, and especially on those days, on Saturdays and Sundays, especially in May, and it could be $4,000 or $5,000 that day easily, just in entry fees. What I would like to do is recommend, since we're kicking Otter Springs back off, and if they will agree, I would like to move the event back to move it to Otter Springs, if that would work for them. I just hate to see the county lose that.
That revenue.
That park is self-sufficient. We don't have to fund anything on that park.
I want to remind the board too that it establishes a precedent now
That's right.
That's
going
right.
forward.
Yes, and we do need to remember that. That was another statement I was going to make. We got to be careful that we do have some language. I don't know if I brought it with me. Well, I'd say, let's see if I've got it with me.
Mr. Robert, we appreciate you being here, all the work that you do, and also the Prevention Coalition. I know y'all doing lots of good work.
Yeah.
Basically, the language that we've used is that the facility at Hart is what we have in the past, which would apply to Otter Springs, is that functions of the Board of County Commissioners and the Gilchrist County School Board, at the park manager's discretion, they can use it for free. And what we've done in the past, what that would be, if we had, TDC had a meeting, we would have a meeting there. I don't know if the school's has ever used it, but the way we would do it, if they wanted to have a meeting for a few of the teachers or something, we would have it. Or in case of the board, if it, again, TDC, or we had any kind of special meeting, we never, just a small group. We've never opened it up to
A big event.
a big event. The only big event we really have is, which it brings in money, is the barbecue. And then the other one is at Christmas, we do the event. But that's all county. So.
Well, those two you just listed are not during the summertime either. the
No, they're in the
barbecue and
off-season.
Christmas.
So, Mr. Robert, you got any, how would you feel about going to Otter?
I personally don't think we would have a problem on the Otter. The only thing is that we've already created advertisement and stuff for art. I'd have to try to roll all that back in and change it. The Hope Fest is gonna be, we wanna make it an annual event also. So I'm okay. Like I said, I think we have just about a little less than a month now at this point, because it's May 2nd, this is April 6th, right? So we're less than a month to revamp and redo all our advertising and then get it launched out. We were doing live radio broadcast from the park, so I had to get them to move from Hart to Harbor. But like I said, I think we're okay. I could check, I need to check with my board of directors, of course. One board member showed up and couldn't hear what they do. The rest of the board wasn't able to make it tonight, so.
With Otter, we could waive the fee for the day. Is that what you're suggesting?
You have a lot less people that normally go to Otter than you would to Hart Springs. I don't like waiving fees at all.
Yeah.
I truly don't. I mean, I would prefer, if you do something like this, let them have a spot or something, and then let people pay the entry fee to come in, so that you're still at least collecting the money, because they're going to use your facilities. It takes money to stock facilities, it takes money to have people out there to clean it, it takes money, everything costs.
Well, we require people to pay like for family reunion, birthday parties, family reunions. They have to rent the pavilion, but they still have to pay to get in,
Yeah.
The
So
biggest-
we can
the
let them
biggest-
use the place at Otter, but yet still they would have to pay to get in.
The biggest issue I have is if we do it for one group, when we gotta do it for all groups. And what if we had you this year, and then we have 3 more next year that wanna do the same thing, exactly same thing? Then we would be waiving weekend after weekend after weekend, we would be waiving the fees and stuff like that. That's the only thing that I'm concerned. I think what you're doing is fantastic, and what you're trying to do is great, but it's gonna set a precinct that if we let you do it, we're gonna have to let everybody else do it. And I'm not saying there might not be none else come up, but then again, you don't know. What if there is? That's the thing I would be concerned about. And like Bobby said, even at Otter, it would be less revenue loss,
Yeah.
but we charge everybody else for everything. I mean, we just had a family reunion down there, and everybody come in, had to pay, plus we had to rent the
Plus you had
pavilion.
to rent the pavilion. But everybody, had to.
So you want to check and see if Otter would work for you guys, or?
Yeah, I just need to, we have a board meeting this Thursday anyway, our coalition meeting this Thursday. So, yeah, I'll be able to.
And we're not gonna waive the cost, we're still gonna make people pay to come in. What is it, $5?
That was just what I said.
Is that $5 a person to get into Otter? Is that what it is?
Talk about rates.
Yeah, I was fixing to say, I thought we were gonna talk about that in a little bit. I understand where everybody's coming from, is if you let one group, then the next group comes up, they want it, and the next group, they want it, and next thing you know, 3 or 4 weekends out of our busy season have been taken up trying to help groups in the community that are doing great things. I mean, we appreciate everything you do, but, I don't know that we can set that precedence either of waiving the fee.
Can I ask a question? The event itself, who is the target audience?
The community at large, as well, because we'll have all the resource vendors will be there. We'll be mostly talking about promotion of health and wellness type things like that, mental health, physical health.
The only reason I asked is, like, currently, children under 5 are free and seniors 65 and over. So if it was more of a senior type event, it's not as much of an issue because there's no cost anyway, right?
Well, I mean, yeah, you'd follow your policy, yes. Yes, so if they're 5 and under, well, as soon as that's the next thing on the agenda, but currently that is our policy. 5 and under is free and 65 and older is free.
Yeah.
Yeah, but if the goal is to try to reach people, maybe you still would be able to go to Heart Springs and reach people, but not have the admission waived. I don't know if that would work or not.
I think that, I have to check with the board on Thursday, but I think that might be the best one.
I'm happy to give input if you don't mind. I'm Beverly Goodman.
You gotta come up to it so we can record it. Sorry.
I'm Beverly Goodman. I manage Tri-County Community Center, Resource Center, and I have sat on Robert's Gilchrist Prevention Coalition Board for, I don't know, almost a decade now, I think, yeah. So I appreciate where the county stance is. I think that we worked as a board together to try to find a date that was not gonna impact the season. And I don't know where we came up with that, but I think we were given, that we could do it any time up to the first weekend in May. So that was the decision, wasn't to infringe on the season at all. We definitely respect that it's a revenue making, but also there was a surprise with Otter Springs. We have held it, I think this would be the 4th year actually at Otter Springs, and had never charged a fee. I don't know if you guys, I know you know Robert, and I know you know the Gilchrist Prevention Coalition, but I don't know if you know a lot about what he does and what they bring to this community. So specifically, working with underserved, at-risk, and low-income families and children. And that's really, although it is open to all residents, that's the target population of what the Gilchrist Prevention Coalition does. He does a lot of community work, including farm share distributions once a month at the Trenton Elementary School, which does not charge him to use that campus because it's a service to the community, which this event is also a service to the community. I mean, you're bringing people to Gilchrist, you're highlighting either Hart or Otter Springs. I don't know what else to say. I'm very disappointed. I understand that you don't want to set the precedent, but what if everybody did that with every community event that the Gilchrist Prevention Coalition wanted to do? What if the school wanted to charge? That would result in not being able to do it. The funds are limited. This is a grant-supported program, and that's the only reason it exists. So there's not really grant money to go and pay venue fees.
Well, we're not asking him to pay anything.
No, we're not gonna
We're
charge
not
a venue
asking him,
fee.
we're willing to give him the facilities to use for free, but he's also asking us to not charge everybody who's coming in, and that's one of our big weekends where if we bring in, $6,000, $7,000, $8,000, then we're not gonna get that revenue, and it may set a precedence for the next group who is a community-based organization who wants to do good in the community, and now we got to do that for them because they did it for them, and
He doesn't want to do good. He is doing good in the community.
yeah, he does great things.
But I think that we would love to have been able to have this conversation on the front end, didn't know what was going to happen with Otter, would have loved to have had you as a partner. I hold a lot of community events in Tri-County on it, and in the past, we've done an exchange for listing you guys as a partner, like Barbecue at the Heart and Healthy at Heart and the other things that happen.
Yeah, and the reason we chose May 2nd was because when I first talked about the project, he was saying, yeah, as long as it's before Memorial Day, because once that's Memorial Day, then, that's our busy time of year. So that was why we went with May 2nd.
Okay. So do you want to talk with the board about Otter and maybe follow up? And if, yeah. Yes, sir. Anything?
Well,
I got a question.
yes, sir.
Since we're just opening up Otter, could this be a one-time grand opening of Otter along with with them putting on their program there and make admission free to everybody as a grand opening to Otter Springs, where you're not setting a precedence of giving it to anybody for free, but it's kind of our grand opening of Otter Springs. It's our first big event out there, and they're going to bring all this stuff in, and it could be kind of a kickoff to the grand opening of Otter Springs, and this group's going to be there.
Come see the new Otter.
Come see the new Otter Springs.
Well, to answer your question, yes, you can do that. And I think if you were to do that, I think, what you need to do is make sure that this is a one-time deal because the county's getting it back. We're reopening it. Then different plans could be made for next year. More than likely, we will just be open the campground because it's probably looking to start taking campers on May. And so you're not going to have a big, huge crowd anyway, so it'll kind of bring some people to walk through the campground, look at the campground, see the upgrades, see the changes. So yes, it could be. Yeah, and you could do that. And then we could plan for something different next year, or figure it out how you could do it to where, if people come to you in the future, because, I know what everybody says, you want to help people. And this is not about not helping people. But you sit here and you say, well, we've had it and we let everybody in free at Otter Springs, our 4 vets for the last 4 years. That's great. But 4 vets is not there today because they didn't make the money to keep the park going.
You're right.
Okay? So I'm not saying we can't help people. I'm just saying y'all challenge me to make sure that we run these parks, we run them efficiently. When we try to make money, Hart Springs used to lose money.
Yeah.
And it doesn't now. I mean, I'm not saying it couldn't again, but we even went through a flood season and made money. We went through COVID and made money.
Yeah.
So, I mean, my point here is I'm not against helping anyone. Sometimes I got to be the bad guy or whatever. But, you look at the list here, and they're great people. They do great things. You can read the articles all the time. You give money to Meridian already out of your budget. You give money to the health department out of your budget. I'm not sure, but I think we give to another way. You are giving to these people. It's not that you're not doing it. My point is we just got to be careful, like y'all said, this slippery slope. I think this year would be great if they would be willing to move it to Otter Springs. My concern here is if we don't give them an answer today, of some kind, they got a lot of stuff to put together to
Yeah.
have this. I don't.
That's what I'm
think-
saying. We can't-
If he
can't
talks to
delay it.
his board, it's another week before you come back here again.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I need to get off my soapbox.
I've been down to Otter before when they've had their
But,
cardboard races and, kids and families, it's pretty neat. If you've never been to one,
Yeah.
it's pretty neat to watch. But I'll make a motion to allow them to use Otter and to waive the fee this year.
I think that would be good for this year, and then we can look at a different approach for next year. But that lets them have their event, and they get to have their event, and then we can let the people come in free on that day.
Okay.
Would you add to that we would, call it a grand opening of the new Otter Springs?
Well, I think that the people that, when they come at the gate, they'll tell them that they're with, I don't think you need to advertise it that way because then you're gonna have everybody flooding into it. I think when they come, they just need to say, hey, we're here for the boat race.
But he's wanting that.
No, that's what they want.
Okay.
They want as many people as possible.
Okay.
We're gonna have,
Okay.
resources, we'll have all kind of resources.
Okay, then, if that's what you want to, if you don't mind a big crowd, then, okay.
That's what they want, I think.
Okay, if you
Come
want
one, come
a
all.
lot of people.
I don't think I would call it the grand opening yet, but
Okay.
I would let them advertise it the way they're
I think that
advertising.
would, yeah.
To try to
And
get
you're gonna have a
everybody
lot
that
of people
can
coming.
there.
And but that's
We
what
don't
you
wanna
want,
say we're
though.
having a grand
Okay.
open to a facility, and we may not have everything quite ready, like the campground and stuff, or something happened.
Okay. I just thought that might be a reason why we could waive the fee and not set a precedence of,
We can base it on the monopoly open yet. But
okay,
we're accommodating them
okay.
because those areas are open.
And then they're gonna advertise free entry and then say, yeah,
Okay,
I think you'll have a lot of people.
we got somebody wanting to make a comment here.
Hi, my name is Jeff Hardis. I'm a journalist. And so just so I understand, because I'll probably write this maybe tonight, because tomorrow there's another meeting for Levy County. They meet in the morning, County Commission. What I'm hearing today is if his board agrees to this, it wouldn't be the grand opening of
No.
Otter Springs, which used to be owned by or run by 4 vets, but is now operated by, again, the county. The county's not yet quite up to grand opening status,
Right.
so it is saying, look, folks, if you come to us in the future, all you other wonderful organizations, don't think you're gonna get in free every person that drives through the entrance, because this is not the precedent for that. This is one thing that's happening due to all the events that have unfolded in the unfinished status of Otter Springs currently. So is that correct?
I think that's
Given
what
that
we're
y'all
getting
do
to.
that, like in a 4-0 vote?
Right,
Okay.
so it's not a grand opening then.
Okay, I understand what
But it's
they're-
gonna be a chance for them to come see the park and what it,
And
what
you
we
will-
have at the park.
You'll
It's an
be able to
event day
allow
for
to get
his
everybody in
organization.
for free. Yeah,
Okay,
It's an event day for your organization, is what it is.
Yeah.
we have a motion and a second to allow the Prevention Coalition and group to go to Otter Springs and
May 2nd.
May the 2nd. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, motion passes.
Did we have a second on that?
Yes, sir. Mr. Langford.
Okay.
Can we take a 5-minute break?
5-minute break. Yes, sir.
Sounds like a good idea.
Mr. Crosby, you're down on, again, Hart and Otter Springs discussion.
Well, first I'd like to talk about Otter Springs rates. Pretty much want to mirror a lot of the things we do at Hart Springs. One of the things that we're asking to change before that is our peak season. Our peak season now currently starts in May. We'd like to start that in April instead of May and run to September the 30th. And our off season starting October. We get a lot of people start coming in April, and we really need to be able to charge our peak season rate if we could at that time. So that's one of the things. Currently, we'd like to mirror the rate at Otter Springs that we have at Hart. In our peak season, Monday through Friday is $5 a person. Weekends and holidays is $8 a person. Off season would stay $3 a person. Of course, children under 5 are free, 5 and under are free, and seniors ages 65 and over are free. At Otter Springs, we'd like to have a spring pass, which is $15, which is the same price we charge at Hart Springs. It's $15, and those days are Monday through Fridays. They do not apply to holidays or weekends. You'd have to pay the full rate on a holiday or weekend. We do not have a pool pass at Hart and do not want a pool pass at Hart, but we can do a pool pass at Otter because the pool is so much larger than the one at Hart. That would also be $15 for a pool pass. It would be good Monday through Friday, not valid on weekends and holidays as well for that one. So if you wanted to go to the springs and the pool, you would have to buy a spring pass and a pool pass. Okay. Cabin rentals. Currently, the Stilt House, if we rent it, would be $200 a night. I will tell you, there's a lot of work that's got to be done on that before we can rent it, and we're kind of evaluating now whether we should or should not even put that money into that. So that's not a big loss. We can reevaluate that too. I'm not saying it can't be eventually, but we need to spend some time on that. The cabins, the ones that sleep 4 would be $150 a night. We have a cabin that sleeps 2, that would be $125 a night, and you're required a minimum 2-night stay.
How many cabins do we have out there that, do you know?
We have 3 that will hold 4 people and 1 with 2 people, so you have 4.
Okay.
Well, but you may not can answer this question. When most people rent those cabins, are they most out-of-state people or somewhere since they're not local people don't really?
They're not local.
Right.
Right.
But most all the time it's somebody from not this area.
You will have a local person rent one from time to time, but that would be like during a wedding.
Yeah.
And they'll rent one because they want to stay
Yeah.
a night or they
Yeah.
want to use it for changing, or something like that. But that's when those get rented. And a lot of times when they rent them, it's family who's coming in from out of town.
Right.
To have somewhere to stay as well too.
I think that's very comparable. We go up to, used to be Yogi Bear, now it's called Reagan Campground up in Madison, and their rates are about the same price right here.
Our RV rates for our RV campsite, on the peak season, we'd like to use $45 a night at Otter Springs and $45 at Hart Springs. Currently, it's $35 a night at Hart Springs, but we have not increased our rate since minimum wage nor any of the additional costs for electricity, and so we need to look at increasing those rates as well. And then we have at Otter Springs, we don't have these at Hart, but at Otter Springs, we have some sites that we'd like to call family sites. It's because they're a lot larger. So if you've got kids and they could have room for a little tent and all kind of things, we'd like to do those at $65 a night. In our off season at Otter and Hart, it would be a daily rental would still be $45. A monthly rental would be $750 a month. We were charging $400. I did some research looking around. We're cheap.
Yeah.
I mean, even at $750 on 30 days, that's $25 a day is what that's at.
That's cheap.
So, and then the family sites in the off-season at Otter would only be 45, because you're just not gonna have as many people doing that, so. Primitive camping is $35. Primitive camping with water and electric is $45 a night. So that's all your camping rates. Your lodge rental, a half a day would be $450. A full day is $800. Weddings would be $1,200. And the purpose for going to $1,200 on a wedding, they always want to check in the day before. They always want to come decorate the day before. So to allow, we just figured the best thing to do is let's just go ahead and charge additional. And we have to do a little
Well,
bit
won't they
more
have
for it.
rehearsal too the day before?
They usually do.
So we might want to bump that to like 3 o'clock because usually, you know,
Well, we've been letting them come in at 3.
okay.
We just put 5 there just in case we had a half-day rental, we would have time. So if we don't have a half-day rental on that Friday, like that
Okay.
morning, we'll let them in at 2 o'clock, actually, or 1 o'clock. So that's the reason we did that, just occasionally. Storage rates for RVs.
So you're basically saying that a wedding though is a 2-day rental? Because you're giving them the day before and the day of the wedding.
Half a day.
It's usually half a day,
Day
right?
and a half is what it is.
Okay, a day and a half.
Yeah.
Okay.
But
And
that's why it's half.
I mean, that's a great rate. for
Yeah,
some-
oh yeah. I've looked at wedding venues. That's cheap. cheap.
Yeah. And storage, we've been charging 25, I think we should go to 50 a month. We looked at a couple of storage places, and the average outside storage is about $75 a month, anywhere you put stuff out for storage. We looked at one place that, depending on what you want, if you want a conditioned storage for your RV, you can pay about $600 a month if you want to get all that. So that's our proposal. Basically, the same rates would be at Hart Springs for the equivalent items. Hart doesn't have everything Otter has, such as the lodge, and then Hart has the pavilions. Otter doesn't have pavilions, but those prices are still good. So that's basically our recommendation. And any questions, I'll be glad to answer them.
What is the, at Hart, we do have a house that you can rent, like a trailer?
Yes.
What is that?
I believe it's
For the house or for the trailer?
The trailer.
The trailer, yeah.
It's $200 a night.
Okay.
For the spring house?
Same as a
For the house
cabin.
or the spring house or the trailer? How much do we charge for the? We have
This says,
Wait, I'm on the wrong page.
yeah,
What you got?
I've got 175 for the park house,
We don't rent it anymore.
and you've got 200 for the stilt house.
Yeah, it's 200, yeah.
So what, but not the trailer?
I was talking about,
That's the park, that's the park.
We don't
manager
rent the
residence.
trailer. I'm
Okay, we
sorry.
don't rent.
oh, you don't rent the trailer anymore? They used to have a trailer out there they rented.
Well, you remember with the
Park manager.
park manager's gonna stay.
or stays
Oh,
on.
okay.
That's a Jim Walter home, or sort of like a Jim Walter home that's up on those stilts. I forget that's not a trailer, but yeah, that's 200.
Okay, any other questions related to the proposed fee schedule?
I do.
Yes, sir.
So the rates we're proposing here, is it specific to Otter, or are we talking about incorporating Hart Springs into some of this as well?
We will incorporate them with Hart Springs. So the RV sites, if they're 45 at Otter, they're 45 at Hart.
So what's gonna change at Hart then? The RV sites?
The
'Cause wouldn't
changing
we
at
need, we
Hart,
would need to do that separate, I would think, wouldn't we? Cause this here just says Otter Springs.
the only things changing at Hart Springs are your RV sites, your primitive camping, and actually your primitive camping would stay the same there. Is your RV sites and your storage, RV storage.
What about weekly and monthly?
Well, that's part of your RV rates. Yeah, your weekly, well, we don't do weekly in the peak season.
The rates I'm looking at has it on there.
I know, but we don't,
Did we
have,
approve it a change since 2020?
We did one in 2023. We do monthly rates, but the monthly rate, we're just gonna do the $45 during the peak season. I mean, most people, your best,
Bobby, the only thing that's changing at Hart are the RV rates and the storage. Is that what you said? Okay. So.
RV and storage.
Yeah, are we okay with?
I would move to make a motion to accept the Otter Spring campground rates, and they mirror the Hart Spring rates.
No, we can't do that because we gotta change the, I think we just need a motion right now for this and then we'll make a
Well, that's why I
motion for
just
Hart.
said mirror it, so we could include both of them in the same thing, because that's what we're gonna do,
No,
is make the
because if we
rates the
look at
same.
Hart right now, we wanna go up on their rates.
That's
If
what
we,
I'm saying. That Hart Springs would mirror what we're charging at Otter, so their rates would go up to what we approved at Otter. So whatever we approve at Otter will also be charged at Hart. And we can do them separately, it's just, I just thought if you could kill two birds with one stone here by changing the rates and having Hart mirror what we do at Otter, can that be done? Is
well,
that
I wanna
okay?
know what's gonna be changing because I don't have Hart in front of me right now. So if we're just saying that the camping's gonna change and that's it, then that's fine.
Well, in storage.
And storage.
Just to believe this is coming up with a Hart Spring.
well, the camping, I need to update stuff. The camping is going to change at Hart Springs to be the same as Otter.
Okay.
And storage, that's all that's changing. at
Just
Hart
camping and storage, okay then.
Springs. Yep, that's it.
All right, that's my motion then.
Okay. Have a motion? You okay?
Second.
And a second to accept the proposed rate changes for Otter and the small amount for Hart. Any other questions or concerns? Yes, sir.
Well, the way I look at both of these really is, we're providing an opportunity for our citizens to have a place to go without leaving the county. They go enjoy and take their family and go swimming and have a good time like we all did growing up. And I don't mind charging. They got to make money. You can't give away anything. But I don't want to get too high, simply for the fact we're taking their tax dollars and helping provide them a community service for our people to use. I know we have out of county people, stuff like that, but to me it's still a service and an opportunity for our citizens to have a place to go and take their families and stuff like that. It's owned by the county. It's not privately owned like a lot of places are. It's not state owned and stuff like that. So I think we got a gold mine here. I think we got a good opportunity for our citizens. So I want to keep it as competitive as we can. And I'm not, these are not out of rate. I'm not out of line. I'm not complaining about that. I just want to make sure that we're providing a good service for our citizens, our residents.
Okay. Yep, all good points. So any other questions or concerns? All right, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. And then finally, you have something under emergency management.
We have a task order. If you remember at the last, I believe it was the last meeting, you approved the engineering grant for a hardened building to use for our 911 services, and it was just the engineering. In that grant, it allows for us to use a firm, which Synergy is on our bid list as a PA. It allows $5,400 for them to help us manage the grant and do the paperwork. So we would like to get this task order approved with them for $5,400. If we don't use them to do it, we don't get the $5,400. So we prefer to let them do it because they are very familiar with these grants and how they work.
And this comes out of the grant.
Yes, ma'am, it's 100%.
Motion to approve request.
Okay, have a motion and a second to approve the task order with Synergy. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Thank you, Mr. Crosby. Is that it?
Yes, sir, unless y'all have some questions for me.
Any questions? Not? Okay. Mr. Lang, you got anything else?
Not at this meeting, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, sir. And then we'll move on to Mr. Newton in the clerk report.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. First item of our report is budget recap. So this budget recap is through March 31st. In general, we've got year-to-date expenditures of $14,056,000 on revenues of $19,239,000. In fire, we've had year-to-date expenditures of $596,000 with revenues of $1,047,000. In transportation, year-to-date expenditures of $1,360,000 on revenues of $2,130,000. And in EMS, expenditures of $1,424,000 on revenues of $1,843,000. And finally, in solid waste, year-to-date expenditures of $569,000 with revenues of $962,000. Only real kind of not necessarily concern, but just something we need to be aware of is as you look at where we're at year to date, we're right at 50% of the year. As you can see, transportation is treading right there at that 50%, and EMS is a little over the 50%. So just something we need to keep our eye on. As you can see, everything else is, underneath that as far as expenditures go. So again, it's just something we're going to have to keep an eye on as we move forward throughout the year.
Okay, any questions related to the budget recap? Thank you, sir.
Next item, this is really, nothing in depth. It's just we're heading into budget season here shortly. And as you know, and it's even in our FYI, on the 20th at 3 o'clock, we're going to have a workshop to discuss the potential impacts of the property tax discussion. And so as we head into the next meeting, I just want you to be thinking about what direction do you want to provide as far as to departments, to constitutional officers. What are we going to be looking to send out as direction for our next budget year? So again, I'm not asking you to give us that today. I just want you to be thinking about that heading into our next meeting because we'll need to send out a letter to everyone at the end of this month. So just an FYI for moving forward.
And so on April the 20th, we're going to look at overview of the budget, where revenues come from, our expenditures, what will happen if we lose the $5 or $6 million in property tax, and what kind of impact that could have in our, what's our operating budget roughly?
Operating budget or ad valorem? Our ad valorem is around $12 million.
But our overall operating
31.
31. Okay, and we lose $6 million from property tax, then we would. So what we're going to also look at as mandatory versus discretionary, and the discretionary will be what we have discussion about if we're even able to meet the mandatory, I guess.
Correct. So that moves into the next discussion, which is House Bill 1329. I don't know if any of you have had a chance to look at that. As of this moment, it has not been signed by the governor, but it has passed. And I don't know if you guys heard about this during the session, but it's being framed as the Transparency and Accountability Act. And basically what it's stating is that it's going to change some of the requirements of what we put on our websites. I'm hopeful that we're going to be able to provide what they're asking for as far as the reporting and the graphs and things like that. I can tell you, I think it's going to strap some counties that I don't think they're going to have the capabilities with their current software. So it's probably going to cost some counties a lot of money. I'm hoping that our new software is going to be capable of providing what we need to put on the websites. But one of the other factors is that it's going to require a 10% reduction strategy. Yes. So
in our overall budget?
Correct. So every year, starting next year, one one thing is this doesn't affect us this budget year. This doesn't go into effect until January 1st of '27. So everything that's in this, I'm just kind of giving you a preliminary heads up that these are things that are going to be coming down the pipe next year. So it won't affect us this budget year, but next year it will. So it's going to require us to do a 10% reduction strategy. It's not that you necessarily have to do a 10% reduction, but every year you're going to have to go through a 10% reduction process.
You'll have a plan.
To look at it and determine, whether or not it's feasible or it makes sense to do that every year. Go ahead.
It's kind of like they're taking away the property taxes because they continue in this. It says you cannot compromise without compromising essential public services such as law enforcement, fire services, or legal obligations. So they're kind of bringing all of this around the same kind of thing. Oh, we're going to take away, we're going to give homesteaders all the property taxes, but you can't touch the sheriff's office, you can't touch law enforcement, you can't touch fire, you can't touch EMS.
And you can't touch anything that's mandatorily required.
Exactly.
So it's going to be interesting to see what that looks like. We've done this in the past, in actual, but it's going to be interesting to see how this works moving forward. It does also change some requirements for when we must advertise certain things when we do budget amendments. I'm still trying to understand the language as far as how it affects the budget process, because when I read the language in the bill, to me it says budget amendments, but yet they keep talking about that it's affecting our budget process. So I don't, anyway, I'm trying to figure out how they get that it affects, our budget advertising, but it does potentially become a factor for us because we have a weekly paper that we normally advertise our budget in, and the way our current trim process works, we're able to advertise that Thursday for the next Monday and be within the parameters that the law provides. Now they're saying it has to be posted 5 days prior, at least 5 days prior, which means that we're outside that window. Because we normally have a meeting Thursday in September for our tentative. We advertise the next Thursday for our final and go to the next hearing. So either we're going to have to advertise differently, or we'll have to change our final budget hearing outside of our normal process, which would be when our normal budget meeting or normal board meeting is. So again, doesn't affect us this year, but it's just something we're going to have to look at for next year and make some changes accordingly.
Okay. Yeah, not many bills made it all the way through both houses and the governor yet, but those that have, we'll have to analyze like y'all have here and see what impact. I know, Mr. Lang, you've looked at several, and you'll be able to continue to do that. And I think we forwarded something to North Florida Professional as well and asked them for their input on some of that. But anything else, Mr. Newman?
I did have one other thing. The workshop on the 20th at 3 o'clock. We have the 3 o'clock workshop, and then normally we'd have the 4 o'clock regular meeting. In recent times, when we had a workshop prior to a board meeting, we said we would start the board meeting immediately following the workshop. So I'm wanting direction on, do we want to advertise it that way, or do we want to say 3 o'clock and 4 o'clock?
I would advertise it where we start whenever.
When we finish the other one. That way, if we happen to go over 5 minutes, it's not.
Or if we go under 5 minutes, because we may go past 4 o'clock.
Okay. And this, at the budget workshop, I know you all are working on a presentation, and that's going to be presented to us. It's probably going to take a little thought after that to come back and have follow-up discussion, and so we'll see how much time it takes.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. Thank you, sir.
One other thing, just FYI, the Gilchrist County District School Board financial audit is there for your review as well.
Okay.
By statute, they're required to provide that to you.
Is the governor gonna sign House Bill 1329?
Don't know the answer to that. My guess would be yes. But I haven't heard any indication either way.
You want my opinion? It's absolute terrible, horrible bill for small counties and small
Agree.
municipalities. Florida League of Cities says that there's no clear evidence of improved fiscal accountability or public access. All it's doing is creating more work, and it especially burdens small and mid-sized municipalities that'll have to buy new software, website redevelopment, and external consultants to meet the new requirements.
I just find
Can
it,
you imagine somebody like Bell or Gulf Hammock or one of these little time?
Yeah.
Has a one-man show and have to come up with all this
I just-
extra reporting.
I think it's interesting in a year where they're considering cutting your revenue sources, that on the flip side of that, they provide a bill that potentially increases your expenses.
Yeah, absolutely.
In the air of transparency. Just
Well, that's what they say it does, increasing transparency and public access.
If they take away property taxes, that 10% rule won't be hard because we won't get about the first 10 years in the first night.
It also looks like I'm gonna have to have final numbers to be posted on the website, and it's also gonna require that we go back 5 years whenever we post it. So we always did 3 years, well, now we gotta do 5. So I don't know, I guess we'll call them, the temporary budget or the, final and preliminary budgets. But we're gonna have less time because now the public's gotta have a longer period of time to be able to review it, which means it's gotta be out on the website earlier. I think it's around 10 days.
It's 10 days, yeah.
So, for them to be able to look at it
Yeah.
and then come in and put their input in.
Okay. All right, we'll work the best we can to adhere to the new requirements. We always strive to do that. All right, we're down to our commissioner reports.
I don't have anything.
Mr. Langford.
Only thing, 138, I think, is complete. They got all the guardrails up, the signs are up, just what best I can tell, and it looks really good. They did a fantastic job. I also mentioned earlier that I went and looked at the Fifth Avenue there where the Riverside Baptist Church are going to chip and seal. And they did a real good job on that, rocked it real good. They were actually rolling it again today, packing it. It's really smooth. Looks good. I think it'll be real good. I know they're doing some other parts too, but that's basically all I have.
Yeah, I rode Southwest 10th, and it's the same as, it's one of the roads we talked about today. And the first mile, it looks really good as well. And the base is very solid. So.
I think that's going to be the key to holding up is the base.
They've done the same thing out at the place out there by me too. I do have some other things. I don't know if you want, I didn't know what list you were going. Do you have anything else?
Well, I failed to mention the helicopter.
Oh, yeah.
I did go to the HGA helicopter ribbon cutting over at the new hospital in Gainesville. They're on Archer Road. And it was a great meeting, a lot of good information. They're dedicating that helicopter to Gilchrist, Levy, and Dixie County. It's stationed in Old Town. It's going to be eventually moved to Chiefland when they get the site ready. Talked to the pilot, the guy that runs it, professional team, all the guys are there. It was really good. And they're going to have a grand opening of the hospital itself, April 23rd, 28th or something like that. But a real asset to the community. They're really dedicated to serving the Tri-County area. Talked to the man in charge and everything, and it was a great meeting. I'm really glad I went. Chief Campbell was there. It was really a good introduction, welcome, and it was fantastic. I really enjoyed it.
Good.
I'm just glad to know that they're dedicating that kind of service to our
Yeah,
area.
I've been hearing the helicopter run
Yeah,
more than usual.
yeah. Well, like I told them, I had a personal experience when my daughter was live flighted to Jacksonville that time, and every second counts. I mean, it's like I told them, what kind of medical services do we have in Steinhatchee or Horseshoe Beach? You're having a heart attack in Horseshoe Beach. What's your hopes of getting to Gainesville? Well, it's at least an hour ride by ambulance. That helicopter can have you there in probably about 15 minutes. And plus, they can do all their medical services on you while they're going over there. You know, I mean, it's going to be great for the Tri-County area. It's going to be fantastic. But it was good. I was really glad I went.
Thank you, Tommy.
That's
Anything
it.
else?
Yeah, thanks. So.
I had a resident come to me and ask about speeding signs or speed limit signs on Northwest 10th Street and just outside of Bell. It's a road that crosses 55th. You know, we put them on 55th. It's out there near you, Sharon, out near Scott's area. Lydia Taylor was one who talked to me. She says, it's really gotten, the road is very narrow and there's a lot of hidden driveways. And she says, you gotta almost pull out of your driveways to be able to see. And there's a new family that's got four-wheelers and dirt bikes, and they're just zooming up and down the road. She'd really like to have speed limit signs put on
So there's no
Northwest 10th.
speed limit sign right now on that road?
There's no speed limit signs on that road right now. Also, I've gotten a lot of calls this week about the water coming out of Jacksonville. And we have a chance for them coming into the board to speak to us?
So I talked to Mr. Hugh Thomas at the Water Management District. He suggested meeting one-on-one with the board, and I think he's already done that.
I went up to the presentation they did up there, and it was very informative. They didn't do an overall speech. They set up individual tables with TVs and everything, and they had the person that specialized in that particular part of the process. You could ask them questions and stuff like that. There was hundreds and hundreds of people that showed up.
Yeah.
And I've talked to Hugh since. He also sent me a new video that they have out that you can watch online. I've been talking to him. I've been tracking it and watching it and asking questions, and I'm starting to understand what they're doing and how they're wanting to do it. But I'm also hearing a lot of feedback.
You might want to meet up.
I've had a lot of phone calls on that.
So I think it's like he said. I think the biggest thing is going to be educational. Educate yourself on what they're trying to do and how they're trying to do it and why they're trying to do it. They're the water police. They're in charge of the water. There's a lot of misinformation out there. There's a lot of terminology that they're calling it wastewater. It's not wastewater.
It's reclaimed.
Right. So there's a lot of things to look at. But Hugh will sit down with you. He will talk to you. You can call him. He'll send you the videos. I don't know if he would be. I'm sure he'd be willing to come to the board, but
They came to Rotary a couple weeks ago, and I'm sure they'll do outreach.
yeah, I'm sure they will. They're going to have some more community meetings. I mean, this thing's 12, 15 years out.
Yeah.
This in the preliminary studies right now, and
Yeah.
a lot of information that I got, for instance, the retention ponds thing that they're doing. They already have one in Jacksonville. They got one.
Tampa.
They got one in Tampa. Got one in Gainesville, Sweetwater, right there on
Yeah.
Painesville area. So it's not a new concept. It's not a new ideal. It is new technology, so it's getting better and better. But that's what I'm trying to educate myself on: is how long you've been doing this, or how you're going to do this. Because I seen some information where they were going to pop it out in Union County, but that's not true. That was false information.
Well, the whole thing, I said, if it's good enough to drink, if it's good enough for us, why don't they keep it in Jacksonville? And I said, well, you know, that's.
Well, I asked that same question.
Yeah, that's who I asked that question.
Hugh told me that they are pumping 1 million gallons of reclaimed water back into their drinking water system every day right now. They are putting 1 million gallons back into their drinking system as we talk. So they already are doing that to some degree. There's a lot of any of those questions. If you'll call Hugh or talk to him, he'll be glad to answer them for us. I've asked him a bunch of people that talk to me.
You met with him.
Yeah.
I met with them at a different meeting. It's just, I've had 3 or 4 calls this week about that, people upset about it. Some other things that are going on, the CARES is having their meeting in May. I think it's first, I'd have to look at the date again, but somewhere around the 3rd of May, CARES is gonna be. And then on the 17th of this month, there's a legislative meeting in Mayo that y'all are invited to go to if you want to. It's a dinner and everything, and that's in Mayo on the 17th. And so, they were asking today if we were sending anybody, and I'm planning on going, but if anybody else would.
May the 17th or?
May no, this month, April 17th.
Okay.
In Mayo. And so I'm planning on going, but I wanted to let you know about it. And then, other than that, that's it.
Okay. I don't have anything. I think we've discussed most of the things and had a good meeting, went through the agenda. We're down to public participation, I believe, and anybody in the public.
Public's pretty much
We
left.
appreciate,
Motion to adjourn.
we appreciate you guys hanging around.
Yeah.
Have a motion and a second to adjourn. All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, motion,
The helicopter, that's what we'll forward.
Bobby, did you get a number?
Yeah.
Forward it.